Hello to all of you. Today is day 3 of our purpose of our 40-day challenge. And just now I was praying and asking God I have something to tell you. And I was asking God to give me the right words so you can understand the message for today. And I pray that you will never forget what I'm going to tell you. And if you are able to put into practice, if you are able to really understand, I ask that you, wherever you are, that you have your full attention to the words that I will say now. Because they are very important. They can change your life. They changed mine. Prayer is what we are going to talk about today. But it's not a prayer, religiousness. I want you to understand that. Because many of us, we have this idea, and it doesn't matter how many people explain to us about it, how many times it's said in the church or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's if God doesn't reveal to you, you will still not understand. And I pray, God, that you reveal to this person now. God showed me some time ago, and has been showing me all the time, and has been proving to me how that word, I'll vomit you out of my mouth. Remember when he said, I'm to the point of vomiting you out of my mouth. I understood that word really well. And there was a day that I saw that God was to the point of vomiting me out of his mouth, because of the way I was, the way I would pray, the way I would talk to him. It was disgusting. I tell you, it was disgusting. And I could see, today I can understand what he means when he says, I can understand. I can understand how can you be to the point of vomiting someone out of your mouth. Vomiting is like, because the person is so disgusting. I can understand how God could speak that, could say such a thing. And I'm going to explain this to you now. You know, the relationship that I have with my husband, everything that I have with my husband was God who gave me. And we have intimacy. I talk with my husband anytime I want. If you are married and you have a good relationship with your husband, something that is given by God, you know what I'm talking about. And it's amazing. It's delicious. Or if you have a friendship with someone and it's something from God as well, and it's good, you have intimacy, you have that relationship that is amazing. And sometimes, many people, not sometimes, most times, many people, they don't realize that this kind of relationship has to happen with God as well. But then you tell me like this, Nanda, I pray, but I pray every day. But how have been your prayers? What kind of intimacy you have with God? Because this is the root of many problems. This might be the root of many things in your life. Many things happen in your life because of this bad root. You don't have intimacy, but you think you have. Like I was talking to someone another day, and she's constantly going through problems. And I said, so and so, you have to see how is your relationship with God. How is your intimacy? How is it? No, I pray every day. I pray all the time. And I was like this, Holy Spirit, help me. How am I going to help her to see? Because I knew something was wrong there in the intimacy, in the relationship with God. You know why? Because when you have a relationship with God, He shows you so many things. He shows who you are. He shows the ugly things in you. You ask and He answers. He answers. You know that? Of course, he's not going to come from heaven and say, here I am, my daughter, and this is the way. No, he creates situations so you can see so clearly that he is there. You see so clearly the hand of God. So when you have this intimacy, but it's not the intimacy, I'm going to give you an example. Many people, they have times to talk to God, right? Okay, today I'm going to pray at 12 o'clock. And then I'm going to pray again at 5 o'clock. And then I'm going to pray at midnight. And then you put your alarm. But tell me something. With someone who you have a relationship, do you need an alarm clock to remind you now it's time for me to speak to her? Do you do this with your friend? Do you do this with your family? Do you do this with your husband? Do you need a time, a watch to remind you now it's time to talk to him? No. You talk to him freely. You talk to your husband freely. To your children, to your friends. You talk freely. You talk anytime. There is conversation. Is something ongoing all the time. You don't need to make a time, a watch to remind you that you need to speak to your husband. You don't, but you do this with God. You know why? Because there is no relationship. There is no intimacy. It's that thing of religiousness, and religiousness kills. This is a plague. Religiousness is a plague in our lives, for the Christian lives. Because they end up being religious other than being of God. When was the last time that you took your whole day talking to God? And it's not, when I say the whole day, it's not that you're going to stop everything. For example, I woke up this morning, and before I opened my eyes, before I even moved, there is that moment that your brain is alert, and that's it. You are awake, even though you didn't open your eyes. But I keep on practicing this. I keep on doing this, and it's amazing. Even with my eyes closed and I don't say anything, but I'm talking to God. I'm having, conversations with Him. I'm talking about my day, what I expect, how I need Him to give me guidance, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Him first, even before I hug my husband or I kiss him, it's Him first in my mind. It's Him. He is the first thing. And then throughout my day, He's constantly there. Throughout my day, if I'm sitting down waiting for someone, I'm talking to God. And it's not like this, because sometimes you can't move your lips. People are gonna think that you're crazy. But here inside, it's real talk. It's real talk. I don't put myself into, I have to exercise my faith. I have to believe. I have to believe. And I have to understand that if my belief is that God is with me all the time, I don't need to have time. I don't need to make appointments to speak to God. I speak to Him anytime. So my whole day, it's Him in it. It's Him. Of course, sometimes you make purposes in church. You make purpose where everybody's going to be talking to God at the same time. And you want to remember that everybody's in the same spirit, in the same faith. So you go. But even though you cannot hold yourself to these things, it's amazing. I don't know if it ever happened to you when you go to sleep and you say like this, Father, wake up me in the middle of the night. I want to talk to you. And then you wake up without alarm clock, try it. Try this tonight. That's it. This is going to be your task for tonight. But there will be a bigger task throughout your life, which you'll be practicing this all the time. Practicing the intimacy with God all the time. And, this is what I want you to understand. I really wish I was coming here now and I was like, my God, My brain even hurts sometimes because I want to be able, this is so strong, this is so important, that I really want you to understand what I'm trying to say and not just take it for granted. You know, your relationship with God will determine how beautiful you are before Him. Not a religiousness, not a thing forced, but something beautiful that you build up. And of course, you have to build up. You have to start from today and make God part of your life without religiousness, without a time. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do, my Lord, you talk to Him, even before moving, even without moving your lips. Do this. Do this throughout your day, even without moving your lips. Let Him be part of you. Let Him be part of your day. When you have a problem, the first person you talk to, who is it? Make it Him. Make it Him. Make it to be Him. The first person you talk when something bad happens, and the first person who you talk when something good happens as well. He has to be the first. This is have a relationship. This is what means to have intimacy with God. He is with you all the time. You don't have a time. You don't have only a moment. It's 24/7. He's part of you. You are walking and you are talking to Him. You are there sitting down looking at someone and you are talking to Him. There are situations happening and you are like, you see, God, how things are. You see that person. You walk on the street and you see all those people who don't know God and you are talking to Him. My God, look, these people, they don't know you. They don't have what I have. Oh my God, help me to be used by you. So this is amazing. It's the best thing ever when He is part of you. It's not only part of moments of your day or of your week, because you have this thing only when you're reading the Bible, you're talking to God. Before you eat, you say, God bless this food. Even your prayer to bless the food cannot be religious. You cannot be praying the same thing all the time. Oh, bless this food. You know, one day God showed me how religious I was. I went to the service and I always saw all the pastors' wives praying before the service, right? And one day I started imitating them and doing the same. I would pray, but it was not a prayer. You know, it was religiousness. And one day I went there. The service was about to start. I closed my eyes and I said, God, bless this food, my Lord. And all of a sudden, I opened my eyes and I felt disgusted with myself. That was horrible. What? Bless this food? So I saw how religious my prayers were, how about to vomit me out of His mouth God must have been. What about you? How is your intimacy with God? How is your relationship with Him? This is something for you to practice for the whole of your life. It's not a task only for today. It's something for you to start. If you realize your prayers were like mine, were like that, religiousness and empty words and without intimacy with God, you have to change this today. And of course, it's not going to be like this. You have to build up a relationship with Him. It's like with someone else. It's like with a friend. You build up. It just doesn't happen like that. But it all starts with you, with your conversations, with you talking, with you doing your part. So I really wish, I pray that God will be now touching you and helping you to understand how important and how deep the word for today is. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.